Hello everyone, I wanted to give you a close-up of my beautiful fall legato at the beginning of my summer 2018 fertilizing video. I have several things to share with you today, some updates, some supplements that I've been using and what I've discovered about the supplements that have helped my orchids to grow and bloom better. So I'm going to get right into it. Let's get into some summer fertilizing tips for today. So the recipes that I'm going to give you today are for my Phalenopsis orchids, and I use the same amount whether they are growing in bark or moss or water culture. It's all pretty much the same. So what I do for the ones that are in bloom, I'm going to give you that as my first recipe. Okay, so when they're blooming, what I do is I use 1/4 teaspoon of the Better Grow Orchid Plus and a pinch of Epsom salts. And this is what I'll water with the very first time. This is what I'm going to fertilize them with the first time that I fertilize them. The next time that I water them, I'm going to use this. When they're blooming, they need a lot of calcium and extra Epsom salts, because that's what the plant requires while they're blooming. So I alternate these two. First time I water or fertilize, this is what I use. The next time I water, I use this. And I keep alternating them while they're blooming. Okay, so let's say you have a spike and that spike is setting buds. What I stop at that time is the nitrogen. The buds are already forming, and I've read many reliable sources that say that when you feed them nitrogen, when they're budding, it can cause bud blasts. And I've actually had that happen to me. When you give them the wrong nutrients at the wrong time, it can cause bud blast. So while the buds are setting, and until about the first, till the first 1 or 2 blooms start blooming out, I don't feed them nitrogen. I feed them with this, and that really does help keep them strong while those buds are forming on the spike. And here's my Phal Hilo Pink, and as you see, she is not blooming anymore, but there's a lot of active growth going on here. She's got new root tips, she's got a new leaf forming. So fertilizing for active growth is different than fertilizing for maintenance of the plant. This is when, in the summertime, when they're growing quickly, you can give them that little bit of extra Better Grow if you want to. And also, I supplement a lot during the summer. And I'm going to show you what I've added to my routine. Okay, I've been using seaweed extract. Several of you have been asking me for a long time if I use seaweed extract. I've been reading up on it, and also Rick L. has several really good videos about the seaweed extract. Rick, kudos for showing us this product. This has really made a difference in what I see, the leaf health mainly of my plants. I've not been losing leaves. I had been losing leaves in the previous years. Like I would have 1 or 2 leaves just dry up and fall off. I'd always heard that was just kind of normal. And then I thought, let's start using the seaweed extract. Let's see what happens. And sure enough, I can tell a really big difference in the leaf health of all of my plants. The seaweed extract adds a little potassium. Potassium is really important to keep the plant hydrated. It's kind of like when you take a multivitamin. For instance, I do take a multivitamin every day, but I like to supplement it with some vitamin C. Same thing here. You can use supplements with your plants, and especially in the summer when they're growing really quickly, I've noticed that when you supplement things, they make it through that growth period really healthy and strong. Okay, so let me show you what I've been doing this summer while they're actively growing. Not in bloom, they're actively growing. Their root systems are growing, their leaves are growing. I use a 1/4 teaspoon Better Grow. If it's a really warm day, I might use 1/3 of a teaspoon of the Better Grow. About 20 drops of the CalMag, that extra pinch of Epsom salts, it's really important as well. And I'll add about 12 drops of the seaweed extract. Here again, you need a pipette or a medicine dropper because this stuff is thick and it is very hard to get it out of this bottle. So that is what I have been fixing. This is my orchid tea, is what I like to call it. And here's another supplement that I've been using. Thank you again, Rick L., for telling the orchid community about this product. I would have never thought of using this on my orchids. This is a very good source of calcium and magnesium. What I do is I just sprinkle about 1/3 to 1/2 teaspoon, just depends on how big the container that my orchid's growing in, and I just add this to the moss or to the bark around my orchid, and it works fabulously. Calcium and magnesium, I've been using this now since January for about 7.5 months, and the growth in my orchids is better than it ever has been. So again, Rick L., kudos, the orchid community, we thank you, and our orchids do as well. And I forgot to mention, I apply this about every 2 or 3 months to the orchids that are in the orchiata bark. It is treated with dolomite, and so you don't really need to add this probably for about 6 months after you repot in orchiata bark. But that is part of what makes your orchid take off after you've potted your orchids up in orchiata bark. I've been very impressed by that, and I have seen for myself the orchiata is treated with dolomite, which is a natural source of calcium and magnesium. And so when that finally gets leached out after about, probably about 6 or 7 months, you can add that back with this garden lime. So that's a really great thing to know about. And another kudos to the orchid angels who helped me ID this beautiful little phal. I found out that this is a phal Soho Lawrence Tahiti Sunset, and that is the parentage, Brother Peter Starr times Brother Sarah Gold. So I wanted to share that with you all. I'm probably going to do a separate video on this beautiful little phal. I just love this bloom. Thank you all to the ones of you who helped me ID this. Also, kudos to my friend Caroline. She does screen captures for me. She did a desktop capture for me of phal legato. Let me give you another close-up of phal legato. And on many of my videos, she does these beautiful screen captures that you can download onto your desktop, and I thank her so much for that. So you all, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate your all's friendship so much, and you all be highly favored, deeply loved, and greatly blessed. And we'll talk to you all next time.